Welcome on in, guys. Three bold takes, and we are back with Bowl Mania this year. We do this every single year. Link is in the description to join. Winner will receive a free Champions Three Bold Takes t-shirt courtesy of the guys over here at Three Bold Takes. But before we get into it, we are sponsored by SeatGeek, so use our discount code Three Bold Takes at checkout to get $20 off your first purchase. We are looking to go to a couple of bowl games. We will definitely be using SeatGeeks. You guys should too. It'll show you what's a good deal, what's a bad deal, and should save you a little bit of money off the top.
All right, guys. Up next in the college football first round playoff games, we will be going into Clemson versus Texas, taking place in Austin at 3 o'clock. Guys, Texas is an 11-point favorite over the 12 seeded ACC champion Clemson Tigers. What do you make of the first round playoff game here for Dabo, guys? I'm gonna start with you, Freddie. I want to see what you're thinking. Can Dabo get it done on the road against Sarkisian and shock the world?
I tell you what, Dabo and Kirby are the two most seasoned vets whenever it comes to playoff appearances in the college football playoffs this year. Um, this is a tall mountain to climb for Dabo this. They backdoored their way into the playoffs. I say that they won their conference. Okay, so you got to give them a little bit of respect there. But let's be real, they shouldn't have been in the conference championship. It should have been Miami, except they had a blunder the last week of the season. So with that in mind, you look at Capital One Bowl Mania, Texas, 90% going Texas. That's worse than Penn State SMU. Um, I don't know what that means for you guys or the rest of, America as far as who they're going to pick. I assume it's Texas. I'm going Texas here. I think Clemson is outmatched this year. I'm glad to see that they made it back to the playoffs. Dabo has had, a down couple of years the past few. Good to see him back. He stayed his course. He's kept his traditions alive in the way that they compete and what they do. But I just don't think it's enough for Texas. I don't think Clemson's defense is up to what it used to be. And when you have an offense like Texas, which let's be real, I personally do think Texas is a little overrated so far. I mean, their two losses are against Georgia, and every other game has been they haven't really blown the doors off. They've won soundly, right? 31-15s, that sort of thing, but you haven't seen the 45-7, the 52-10 like that really. So give me Texas to win. 11 points is kind of wild here. I think Clemson covers the 11. I don't think this is going to be a blowout here just because of Dabo's experience in the playoffs. I think he can probably muster up something to be able to keep tight against Texas, but I think Texas.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I think it's a Texas game here. I love Texas's offense. I think they're going to show up and play. The only person that's really kept the Texas offense down all year was Georgia, and they did it twice. Um, I like what Clemson did in the ACC championship. However, you got to remember they got spotted 14 points off the rip from SMU. And then after that, it really slowed down in the second half, and SMU etched their way back into it. I think Clemson. I love Klubnik. I was hoping Klubnik was going to be the next guy for Clemson and rising right back to the top. Clemson's just been a, not a middle of the road ACC team, but they used to dominate the ACC. Now it's, hey, we're winning by 7 points over Boston College. We're winning by 10 points. We're barely getting by now. And I think Clemson is going to do well in this game. I think their defense is going to be sound against Texas. I think it's going to be really hard with the jet sweeps, the motions, the pre-snap stuff that Texas is going to do, move a lot of guys around. Um, I do think my bold take with this one though, I think this game is close. I think it's extremely close. I think this is probably close to what the SMU Clemson score was. I think it's going to be around the 30s, but it's going to be a field goal. I don't think the 11 points is really going to show up because you got to remember Texas has played again, like Freddie said, soundly this year, but they haven't played top end. They didn't play your Alabama. They didn't play LSU. They didn't play Ole Miss. They didn't play who am I missing? The top ones. Sorry.
They didn't play
And
Tennessee.
yeah, they didn't play Tennessee. Like you're missing a lot of the top end programs that Oklahoma had to face this year, and Oklahoma got shredded from top to bottom, except for Alabama. But that's something Texas that you didn't see, and when they did have to face somebody in Georgia, they got beat twice. So I think it's going to be a really good game for Texas, and I think it's going to be a strong one for Clemson to kind of say, "Hey, we're still here." When
Yeah, just for clarification on the Texas thing, you look at the ranked 8 teams in the SEC. They did not play Missouri. They did not play South Carolina. They did not play Ole Miss. They did not play Alabama. They did not play Tennessee. They did play Georgia twice. They lost both games. All that being said, Texas's biggest advantage here is going to be on the line of scrimmage. So that Texas defensive line is legit. I think it's going to give Clemson a hard time trying to establish any kind of interior run game, even against a light box, which is something that they really like to try to do offensively. When you flip it to the other side, man, Sarkisian is a offensive mastermind. And I am not convinced that Clemson has the dogs to keep up for a whole game. I think they will force some turnovers early that help keep the score kind of close for a little bit. But I think Texas is actually going to end up covering the 11 before the game is over. I think there's too much speed on the perimeter at the wide receiver position. And I think there's too much talent on the interior defensive line for Clemson to really do what they're going to try to do to get a win, especially when you take into effect this is going to be a road game for Clemson. I'm not here for it. It's like you said, Chase, the old era of Clemson where they won every ACC game except for one or two of them by 40, and then they never lost a conference game. That era is over. They are not to the caliber they were when they were at the tippity top peak of the sport just a couple years ago. So give me Texas to win this game and cover the spread. I do think Clemson will keep it close in the first half, but over time, I just don't see them really hanging with Texas. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's going to be it for our Texas Clemson video. Make sure that you use our code 3BoldTakes with our sponsor SeatGeek to get $20 off your first purchase in the app. We are going to get out of here and move on to the next playoff game. We'll see you guys later.